Hi guys, welcome back to lesson 3 in our fractions topic. Today we are going to be looking at top-heavy fractions. So we are learning about top-heavy fractions and how we can fix them, so to write them in a more proper form. You have been successful today if you can identify what a top-heavy fraction is and use our rules for changing to a mixed number fraction correctly. And through this lesson we'll see what a top-heavy fraction is and what a mixed number fraction is. Top-heavy fractions have a bigger numerator than denominator. So remember, way back in lesson 1 for our fractions, our numerator is the top and our denominator is the bottom. So that's why it's top-heavy. 7 is bigger than 4. In maths, we would actually call this an improper fraction. So that's like the correct way to say it. But if you call it a top-heavy fraction, we still know what we're talking about here. So top-heavy and improper mean the same thing. We can change a top-heavy fraction into a mixed number fraction using the following steps. So I'm going to see then how many times my 4 goes into 7. Well, 4 goes into 7 once, and this time I'm going to use my remainder. Now, this is the only time in maths that we are going to use a remainder when we are dividing. Okay, when we were doing our decimals topic, I said we didn't use it anymore. We would put a decimal point in, put a 0 at the end and carry over. But for our mixed number fractions, we need a remainder this time. So 4 goes into 7 one full time and a remainder of 3. We can then write that as a fraction. So the number of times it goes in fully becomes our whole number. So my 1 is just a normal 1. I've then got a remainder of 3. So that is going to be my new numerator, and 4 was on the bottom, so it stays on the bottom of my fraction. I'm just going to write up here, it was 7/4 that we had. So no matter what fraction you are doing, your denominator stays the same every time. So 7/4 is written as 1 whole number and 3/4, so that 4 stays where it is every time. Make sure that we are writing our whole number bigger than our fraction so that it doesn't look like 13/4. Okay, it's 1 whole number and 3/4 at the side. And this is why we call it a mixed number fraction. It's mixed because it's got a whole number part and it has got a fractional part. So the 1 is your whole number, the 3/4 is the fraction, so it's a mixed number fraction. Okay, we are now going to convert these fractions to mixed number. So let's see, 4 into 15, well it doesn't go into that 1, but it does go into 15 3 times, and we've got a remainder of 3. So that means I've got 3 whole numbers, I've got 3 left over, and it was quarters to start with, so 3 3/4 is my answer there. I'm just going to draw a wee line here to separate it. So 15/5, well let's have a look at this. So 5 goes into 15, can't go into 1, but it does go into 15 3 times. We don't have a remainder. This time it's a remainder of 0. So really it would be 3 whole numbers and 0/5. But if I've not got any of those fifths, I can just write that as 3 whole numbers. And that makes sense. 15 divided by 5 is just 3. Then we've got 67/6. So 6 into 67. So 6 goes into 6 once, no remainder. 6 goes into 7 once, with a remainder of 1. So that means my whole number is 11. I've got just 1 of my 6 left over. And as you can see, each time I started with a quarter, so I finished with quarters. I started with a fifth, and then we had a fifth, although because it was 0, I didn't need that fraction at the end. And then we had sixths here, so I had sixths at the end. Just always make sure your denominator matches the original fraction. Okay, convert these fractions to mixed number and then simplify. So we've got 2 steps this time. So to start with, we're going to see, well, 4 goes into 10, can't go into 1, but it does go into 10 twice with a remainder of 2. So that is telling me then that I've got 2 whole numbers and then I've got 2/4. But remember, we always check if we can simplify our fractions. So 2 and 4 are in my 2 times table. So I'm going to divide the top and the bottom by 2. I do not touch my whole number. So no matter what, it stays as it is. I've still got 2 full numbers here. My numerator divided by 2 is just 1, and my denominator divided by 2 is 2. So 2 and 2/4 is the same as 2 and 1/2. Try the same again for our 10/6. So 6 into 10 doesn't go into 1, but it does go into 10 once with a remainder of 4. So I've got one whole number and I've got 4/6 as my fraction. Again, 4 and 6 are in my 2 times table, so we divide top and bottom by 2. I know that my 1 stays the same, it doesn't change. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 1 and 4/6 is equal to 1 and 2/3. And then our last one here, we've got 7/49. So 7 doesn't go into 4, but it goes into 49 7 full times. So that is just going to be 7 and 0/7. But really, that's just an answer of 7 there. Okay, and that is you at the end of the notes portion today. Again, I have used our Chili rating, and this time we are not using a calculator for any of this exercise. So your mild section here is just changing from top heavy to mixed number, but number 2 is asking you to do like our last slide there, so change to mixed number and then check, can you simplify? So make sure that it is always written in its most simple form. And then our hot section here for question number 3, we've got 5 different parts here, and it's just getting you to read through the question and to see if you can answer these questions. Just like we've done before, only you are picking the numbers out this time. Any problems, you know you can contact me through email or on our Teams chat. Try your best for me, and I will see you in the next video.